Hello, YouTubers. It's your girl, CyndiG, coming to you from Charlotte, North Carolina. Today is Tuesday, June 4th, 2013. And as promised yesterday, I was going to give you some information about my mental preparedness class that I was required to take prior to surgery. For those of you who are just now tuning in, let me give you my information. I've not had surgery yet. My surgery is scheduled for June 17th. My highest weight is 266. My current weight as of yesterday was 157. 157, I wish. 257. My goal weight is 160. I want to try to get down to about 155 to give myself a 5-pound buffer. But I would like to maintain at 160. That's my overall goal. So I've done everything I needed to do to get ready for my surgery. And today was my very last appointment, which is called Mental Preparedness. And I really wasn't sure of what to expect. So I wanted to give you a video and just give you a quick update on what happened at the visit today. It was around 5:30 after the weight loss center had closed. I'm having my surgery done by Carolina Weight Management Center here in Charlotte, and the appointment was at 5:30. And there was a group of women and men. It was about 20 of us actually, and a few people came in support of the patient. And we had a licensed psychologist came, and she actually works at the clinic, and she does the psychological evaluations for some people. My insurance wouldn't allow her to do it. I had to go to an outside facility to have mine done, but that's her primary role. She does counseling and she does the psych evals at the center. And it was basically just a group discussion led by her. She facilitated. And we went around, said our names, who our surgeon was, what day we were having our surgery, and if we had any concerns about our support or any questions or what have you in preparation for the surgery. Most people pretty much by this point, I would think, are ready, and I know for myself, I've done so much research, and I've been online and I've been looking and talking to people and getting on the discussion boards on the various sites. So I really didn't have much for her, and a lot of people really didn't have much. A couple of people, there was one girl there that said she was concerned about going into surgery because she's never had a surgery before, never had to stay in a hospital, never had children. So she just didn't know what to expect as far as having to stay in the hospital for a couple of nights. So that was her anxiety. Had another person that said she has told her family, but hasn't really, well, her immediate family, but really hasn't told coworkers or many people on the outside. And so we talked about, what do you say, how will you deal with people, or even if you will deal with people when you do start losing that weight and they ask you, what are you doing to lose the weight? You could politely say, well, really it's private. I really don't want to discuss it. Or are you going to be an open book and just let them know everything that's gone on and your journey? So we touched on that. Also, we talked about introducing food back into our lives after the surgery and after we've gone through this phase where we just can't eat, when it's back to where we can eat. How do we socialize? Because everybody knows everything you do is surrounded, like every event is surrounded by food. What do you do when you get a new job? What do you do when somebody's birthday comes along? It's an anniversary. Everybody, we go out to eat. So what are some ways that we can cope with having to deal with those events, the holidays? Some suggestions were, instead of having a social with food, maybe do outdoor activities, do a team building activity at work instead of having a social. Maybe you'll go to a park and have a kickball game, or, you just do something different. The psychologist also said one thing that she did there in her own office was that at Valentine's Day, instead of giving out chocolate, she gave out candles. And I thought that was unique, and I liked that. And she said at Christmas time, she refused to give out food. She gave away socks. So just thinking of things like that. We had one participant that was concerned about, what do I do with the time that I usually eat? Like, I have so much time. My life has been revolved around snacking and eating, and I come home and I get a bag of chips and sit in front of the television. What am I going to do to fill my time? So I thought what she was saying was interesting. I don't really have that issue, but she said she was going to paint her nails. That's going to be a lot of nail painting if that's an issue for her. You know, if she's used to coming home every day and getting in front of the television. She lives alone and has a pet. She said, you know, she was going to walk the dog and do other things to get her mind off of eating, and hopefully the craving would pass. But mainly she talked about painting her nails, so that's gonna be interesting. You know, her friend's gonna see a lot of different nail colors, I assume. But you know, to each his or her own. You know, I'm not knocking it. I know that my main issue has been not eating 3 meals or 5 small meals. Skipping meals has just been a big problem for me. Skipping meals and then compensating late, like in the afternoon, eating out and eating the wrong types of foods. So that's my own demon that I have to deal with, and I've been dealing with it. I have to deal with it with this pre-op diet. By the way, I'm on my 2nd day, and yesterday was fabulous. I didn't really have any complaints. Today, I started out the day, I was fine. I went to that meeting and I was talking to somebody else whose surgery date is on my day and who's in the exact same place as me. And I was like, I'm not even hungry, are you? And she was like, no, I'm good. And you hear about people saying you're going to be irritable. And it was like, I shouldn't have said anything, because the moment I got home, I was kind of snappy with my daughter, and I had to apologize and remind her that I was on this diet and that may impact me. And I was starving all of a sudden. So what I did was, I'm allowed to eat salad greens. So I just made me a salad with some fat-free dressing and ate that and drank some water. And that really subsided my hunger. And what I'll do is get me a protein snack, shakes before I go to bed. So that'll hold me over throughout the night. And that's been working for me so far. They say once you get past the 3rd day, you're home free. So I'm really hoping that that's true. But, you know, that's all I really wanted to bring to you guys today. Give you some information about the mental preparedness, tell you what that class was about. One good point that she did make, I want to say before I can wrap it up, is that you have to really think about, how did you get obese in the first place? And that was interesting to me, because I'm not one of those people who I say, well, I was born fat and I've always been fat and I grew up, I was fat, got picked on. That's not me. I was athletic, slim, well, I mean, not paper, you know, not pinky thin, not thin, but I was size 8 is the smallest I really remember being, and I was comfortable. I was 155, so I was normal weight, normal, you know, not overweight, not obese. Until I had my son at 20, and I lost most of that weight, and I got back down to 175. So I lost back down pretty quickly. And then when I had my daughter 7 years later, I had gained some weight back, but after I had her, I just never could get back out of the 200s. And I've gained weight, lost weight. You know the routine, you know how it goes. So I just went through that pattern for the last, basically the last 10, 12, 13, 14 years. I've really been struggling. So I'm looking forward to finishing this process. I thought that was a good takeaway to reflect on, how did you get to the weight that you're at and why you are at the weight you're at, because she said everything's a cycle. And so it's going to come upon you again. So if you had something traumatic happen to you, if you had an injury and you couldn't work out anymore and you started gaining weight, whatever happened and caused you to become obese, or even if you have always been obese all your life, you have to deal with how am I not going to let this happen again? So on the inside, that's something I'm going to be dealing with. You know, making my plan, getting my thought process straight. So I guess with that said, I did have a takeaway from the class, but other than that, it was pretty much stuff I already knew. Not that I know it all, but I mean, I didn't really hear anything different, or I didn't have any wow moments, you know, tonight. But I will be coming back at you later this week to give you an update, probably around Thursday or Friday, to let you know how my process is going. And definitely, if not, I will touch bases next week so you can see how my first week went on my pre-op diet. Okay, good night.